I was told to deliver this message. You think you're invincible because you got money, bombs, guns, and planes, killing babies, innocent people. I think you're insane. Chaos and destruction is the name of your game. Somebody's got to stop you before the whole world goes up in flames. So he told me to tell you, I'll fight
for my brothers. We can go to war. Fighting for my father, I will give my life for. I feel so alone in this white man's world. Whip it in the kitchen, watch that white turn pearl. Standing on the corner, standing on my phone. Standing with my gangsters, but I'm standing on my own. If you got to be his own, split you like you be alone. Sacrifice my life, understanding each his own. Toast to the keys of success. Bel Air rose on my breath. I've been a student since '03, and we can fight till we see peace.
I fight like that. 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 I fight like that.
Let me holler at you for a minute, give you game. Real scrappy, love the bada Buddha bang. Trigger happy, and everybody in the game. You shot your family and didn't even know it, man. Same rules, same code, with a different slang. Struck him out, now they took him out the picture frame. Mama, don't cry, we gon' get by. 2 weeks later, got killed in a drive. Why? Must we fight amongst each other? Reach one, each one, teach one, my brother. I teach them how to fight on the grass and in the class. Snoop Dogg, all stars, yes sir, they coming fast. D1, football, we won. Now proud of my son, Lil Snoop, yes sir, cause he won. Right on, SC, fight on. We 100, keep it coming, dip, slip, slide on, light on.
I fight like that. 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 I fight like that.
Watching the warriors, the story of the rebels. You from the ghetto, did you know never to settle? I'm shooting common on the streets, I'm a pharaoh. Battling in African-American apparel. This on a t-shirt, youngins doing street work. Grinding till they teeth hurt, that's because they need work. Working till the feet hurt, trying to get my soul right. Used to be on old bikes, serving them that cold white. Wars in the winters, the block is hot in summers. Today's mathematics, we know it's strength in numbers. To the bosses and the runners, the hustlers and the stunners. We fight for the hundreds, we fight for the oneness.
He fights with the heat. He fights with the sleet. He said, I am who I am. I can't be beat. Nobody has won a war against me.
I fight like that. 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 I fight.
All of the nations of the earth as we speak are angry. They're angry because governments cannot suffice the needs of their people. They're angry because a few have gotten wealthy at the expense of the many. And the poor and the sick and the weak and the unlearned multiply. And the value of their lives are diminished by the rich and the powerful, so that when human life is devalued, that in the eyes of man you are unworthy of the gift of life, then it is easy for another human being to take the life of another human being that he or she has devalued. Black life in America is devalued. Hispanic life is devalued. Even poor white life is devalued. There's a way that I have to behave. I'm free, but I'm not free to rob you of yours. I'm not free to take from you what does not belong to me. So if I will construct my life according to these righteous principles, then between man and man, man and woman, peace. Between race and race, peace. Between rich and poor, peace. We have our beautiful Mexican family. This once was theirs. So you can't say to them they are aliens. That's a horrible word to use for former owners. I see my indigenous family here. Many tribes, but they're really one great nation of people that now must be reunited with themselves. So it's their time now, as well as ours, that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top. The government is not rehabilitating soldiers. When they send you away to kill. When you come home, they gotta reconstitute you for civilian life again. Make sure you have a job so you can take care of your family, but they're not doing it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, a woman can do anything that a man does, and the only thing he forbids the woman to do is the thing that degrades her. So how high can you go? High as you want to. Why would God allow the female to wear his attributes if you can't be a manifestation of that attribute? Women, you got to be set free. What God has put within you must be cultivated, must be developed, and must be used for the advancement of a nation and a world. I said to myself, Mr. President, why the hell don't you go to the wicked police department? Why the hell don't you stand up and tell them that your killing of black youth and brown youth is not gonna hold no more? Why don't you stand up? God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace, under real freedom, real justice, and real equality. This city has always fascinated me, the city of Frankfurt. Known to be a city of trade and economic growth. As a kid, I was amazed by handing over a piece of paper for ice cream, toys, and candy. Handing over such a paper and receiving a toy racetrack in return, I just could not believe it. Where could I get this magic paper? This idea I couldn't get out of my mind. I started asking questions and read every book I could find. I learned the money was backed by gold as a paper form to save us carrying it around. Something of real value behind the paper. But everything was changed. The value was capped and the gold standard, as it was called, was abolished. Since then, the value of money has been the biggest lie of all. The dollar bill is now just a paper subject to inflation and devaluation. This must stop. The solution returning to a piece of gold that you can actually hold and it holds value or even better cash gold. Paper pressed and refined with real gold. A masterpiece solution, a forgery-proof, totally digital cryptocurrency. Here I am in the city of money, but not as a banker or a gold dealer. The Frankfurter Book Fair has invited me to read from my books that will help the world believe in gold again. Think Big will help show people how to be successful. I am very proud to be here.
Hey, my friend, this is Darnell Clark, your industry leader in his career game, The Answer Man. Hey, today's topic is around leaders are readers and readers are leaders. Do you know that 85% of every person here in America who graduated from high school or college never pick up a nonfiction book ever again? 85% of people who graduate from high school and college never pick up a nonfiction book ever again. Reading is fundamental to your success. A person who does not read is no different than a person who cannot read. You are the same today as you will be tomorrow, except the books you read. I have determined that wherever I am and wherever I got to because I began reading books. The very first book I started reading books, nonfiction books, right out of college. The very first book I read was a book called Wealth Without Risk by Charles Gibbons. He's no longer with us. He's the guy regarding personal finance. He was before Clark Howard. He was before, what's her name? She's up here someplace, right? I can't remember her name. Susie Orman. He was before Susie Orman, and he was before Dave Ramsey. He was the guy who told me everything about personal financing, insurance, stocks and bonds, 401ks. He changed my disposition financially across the board early in my career, early in my life. Wealth Without Risk was the first book I ever read. And then he had a workshop here in the Atlanta metro area. I went to that workshop. One of his speakers talked about this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I left that workshop and I went right to the bookstore and I purchased the book. There was a small little book and I took it and I consumed it in 2 days. Before I married my wife, we was engaged. I've been married to my wife for over 25 years now. And I went to meet with her mom for the first time. And she saw that over a two-day period, I consumed that book called Think and Grow Rich The premise around Think and Grow Rich is all around you become what you think about. If you're not thinking of what you want to do or who you want to become in the future, all you will ever have and all you will ever be is what you got right now, which is nothing. So I consumed that book. And she said, Darnell, if you like that book, I saw you to consume that book really easy. If you like that book, I have a program that you might be interested in. It's called this, The Psychology of Winning by Dennis Waitley. I didn't know this dude. I never heard of Dennis Waitley before. And as you see, it's cassettes. It's who listens to cassettes anymore? This is back a long time ago, over 20, 30 years ago. This was the first program I listened to. This was the Psychology of Winning. It changed my life forever. I consumed it. It was so much information. I am a winner. I am like Serena Williams and Michael Jordan. These are the two guys I only heard say the same thing. They said, listen, if you're not coming in first, you're last. And I like winning more than I hate losing more than I like winning. Those are the only two people I have ever heard said it. And Michael Jordan is every time, you want to be at the top of the mountain, you get paired to Michael Jordan, right? And right now, Serena Williams is the best tennis player in the world ever, men or women, no matter what. And they believe in winning. And so I believe in winning too, right? This was the first book. This was the first program I listened to. And then I turned it on the back. On the back, they had this 1-800 number. I called them up. I asked them for a catalog. And from that catalog, from this and the catalog, came all of this. I started listening to guys like Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, right? Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar taught me everything about goals and top performance. The first one I got was his program called See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. See You at the Top was outstanding. And then I started listening to other people like Brian Tracy, Roger Dawson showed me and taught me how to do The Secrets of Power and Negotiation. Dennis Waitley had another program. This program called The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon taught me about savings. The premise around that was all around whatever you make is yours to keep. All you make is yours to keep, right? And he taught me everything about savings. And then I started listening to Tom Peters. Tom Peters. These are the icons of personal development. Tom Peters wrote the book called In Search of Excellence. If you never, ever read that book, it's an old book. It will separate you from all others. That was the iconic book that Tom Peters put together called In Search of Excellence. Those were my coaches. I believe we all need coaching. Right? We all need coaching. These were my coaches. And then once I started consuming all these programs, I started reading books. I started reading books immediately coming out of college. So let me give you a recommendation. I want you to start reading one nonfiction book every month for 2 years. After 2 years, I want you to start reading 2 books every single month. That's what I do now. And so these books here, these books are all the books I read last year. I read The Grit by Angela Duckworth. I read all these books last year to put inside me information to be excellent at what I do. These were all the books I read last year. Now, if you look behind me, these are all the books I got to read this year. All right, these are all the books I got to read this year. I've already purchased them. I had a list. These are all the books I read. These are the books I had to read this year. Below this, these are some more programs. These are some more programs. Can you see what I did? I had a car. I used to call it my university on wheels. Every time I got into the car, I popped a cassette in. That's how long I was doing it. I popped the cassette in, and that's what I did. And so I started reading so much, I couldn't read fast enough. So I started finding out and engaging in audio books. And so I started reading audiobooks. At the top up there are all my audio books I read. I listened to. All the books I listened to over the past couple years. And then on this side is some more audio books. Right? About a year ago, I decided, let me find out how many books, books on tapes, books on CD, DVDs, programs I had. I had over 1,000 books and programs. You don't see them here because I did a spring cleaning last year. Stupid. Now, I shouldn't have done that. I did a spring cleaning and I threw out somewhere about 200 or 300 books. If I would have took this video last year this time, everything above my hand, all that up there were books from the top shelf all the way to the ceiling, stacked all the way to the ceiling across from one end of the bookcase to all the way to the end of the other bookcase. And my wife hated coming in here because I had books all over the floor. I had books everywhere. I did a spring cleaning and I threw them all out. Stupid, I shouldn't have done that, right? But any books that I thought was dated, any books I didn't believe in the author anymore, I got rid of. I should have kept them, but I didn't. So my recommendation to you, my friend, is to start reading a nonfiction book once a month. See, we have the ability to get things into our brain called our gates. We have our mouth gate, our eye gate, and our ear gate. When we just use our eye gate or ear gates on videos and television, it does not. We don't engage in memory and memorize and receive and learn from when we just watching or listening. Do you ever recognize why is it so easy to be watching television and go to sleep while you're watching television? Your mind is not active when you're watching television. I recognize that. And so that's when I stopped looking at videos to learn stuff and stop watching or listening and watching at videos or listening at audio tapes and audio CDs and audio programs, because you don't learn as fast and as much as you are when you read. Let me give you a suggestion. When you read a book, read it out loud. I'm not saying read it loud where you're disturbing everybody, but when you read a book, you read it out loud. So it goes into your eye gate. You read it out loud and it comes out of your mouth gate and then it goes into your ear gate. Study shows that when you read like that, you're able to obtain and maintain what you read more. So I read 2 books a month. If you have not ever started reading books, let me give you your first book you should read, The Alchemist. I can't tell you how many professional leaders or professional developer gurus told me to read this book. This book called The Alchemist is the first book you should read. It is not a nonfiction. It's a fiction book, but it is everything you need to know to understand your personal legend. Your personal legend is what God have created you to do. It's already inside you. If you turn into inside, it will show you the direction of your personal legend. Your personal legend is a person's only obligation in life. It is your life mission. If you have not ever read a book or you're looking for a book to read, read The Alchemist. I promise you it is interesting reading. So like I said, I read books every month. This was the last book I read just a couple weeks ago. I finished reading this called .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. I am an expert in this career game. but I am not an expert in social media, internet marketing, right? This is the book showed me the game. It told me how to engage people with my message, how to monetize my message. I got a second book up there. It's right here. I still have to read that book, but I read this book. Right now, this is the book I'm reading right now. I started reading this. This is the book, right? The Ultimate Guide to Facebook Advertising. I will have to put my information out there on Facebook to advertise. I have a book. Excuse me. I have a book that I just created. My publisher just sent it to me. It's ready to be sold. I'm putting everything around it. And the way you're going to find it is through advertising on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all that. I got to learn all that. I am reading this book right now. By the time you probably get to this video, I probably finished reading this book. I need to know how to do advertising on Facebook. So that's why I told you that's what I do. I learn from reading. So there you go, my friend. If you want to take your career to a whole nother level, start reading books. A person who does not read is no different and no better than a person who cannot read. And you are the same as you will be today, except for the books you read and the people you talk to. So I ask you, my friend, what was the last nonfiction book you read? If you haven't read a book, read The Alchemist book. This is the first book I want you to read. So there you go, my friend. I got something special since you stayed to the end. If you like this video, click on the like button. Share this with 3 or 4 people that need to read books, right? And give me your comments, because I answer all comments, because I am Darnell Clark, the Answer Man, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So there you go. Start reading your books, because reading is fundamental to your success, and a person who does not read is no different than a person who cannot read. This is Darnell Clark, your industry leader in this career game, saying, hey, go and start reading books, because it's going to take you to the mountaintop. I'll see you in the next video. Later.
I want to have Mr. Ty Best come on the line and talk to the people all over the planet about what we're doing, why we're doing it, encouraging them. And we're going to let Mr. Michael Dalco know that you are on. And Mr. Best, I say good day, good morning to you. Great seeing you, sir. And yes, you are worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, the Millionaire Mentor, Mr. Ty Best.
All right, so before you, Mr. Williams, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, before you bring Mr. Best on, let me set this up properly, because I need these people in the room, and I'm going to turn my camera on, Gold Rocks, as well, so they can. So he, no homo. I mean, if you go down like that, that's only. I mean, I ain't judging. I don't judge nobody. I'm just saying, not me. I love women, so I mean, but I love this dude because, like I told y'all, I've been in the industry for. That's me, Cameron. All right, I got it. All right, cool. So I've been in this industry for about 20 years before I met this gentleman, and I was struggling. And it was not until I met Ty Best. Now, I believe I could have rocked Karatbars, but man, it would have been a different party. It would have been a whole different party. And I need somebody, Dr. Rozelle, if you'll hold this for me. So, Mr. Best, I'm trying to turn this. Oh, here we go. I know. Point that at the people there. All right, yeah, they can see. Okay, good. All right, you guys on the screen. So I wanted him to be able to see y'all too. But without this gentleman, I couldn't have done this. I probably would have had some success because Karatbars is just fire. It's just amazing business. But I remember the day I got on the phone with him, it was in November. I joined November 12th. and my sponsor put me on a three-way call. You better do three-way calls. Three-way calls are not for make somebody look better than you. It's that humans need validation. They need to hear a witness. Even when you go to court, can I get a witness? They need a witness. They just need another voice to say, you're not crazy. This is the bomb. You need to do it. That's all it is. It's for a witness. And so he put me on the phone with Ty Best, and I got way more than I bargained for. Mr. Best goes, hey, Mike, down. Mr. Hines says a lot of nice things. And he took me from that day, guys, from 0 to 100. And I remember what he told me. He says, this is what we're going to do. I asked him one question. I didn't say, is the goal real? Right? I didn't say none of that stupid stuff. Pyramid. I didn't ask none of that.
Yeah.
I was too broke to ask them stupid questions. All right. I had one question. I said, will you help me do this? And he said, yes. And 103 days later, I was handing my company the pink slip. Because this man said, what we gonna do, Mike? No, I'm sorry. What we gonna do, Mike?
Yeah.
He said, we gonna work straight through Thanksgiving. We're gonna work through Christmas, all the holidays. When people go into a daze, we're gonna work through the holidays. We're gonna work through New Year's. He said, in 90 days, you're gonna see why I told you we're gonna work through the holidays. You're gonna find your most serious people right now. The people that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're gonna find them right now. Ladies and gentlemen, my mentor and our senior partner, Wealth Builders Worldwide, the founder, Mr. Ty Best.
Look, I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm totally unprepared for this meeting every way. I'm sitting here, I'm still in my pajamas. And when Mr. Delcobe called me, my phone was being charged. I missed his phone calls. So I threw on a cap. You see shirts hanging in the background. I'm not prepared for this at all. This is not showtime. This is just keeping it real. I've been on the phone all morning, chatting with people and having a good time. Did a power call this morning. But let me tell you something. You guys, I hope you understand. Number one, have Mr. Delco take time out of his day to come there and spend more time with you guys and to understand something. You're in one of the most powerful, most lucrative marketplaces in the world as that DMV area. In fact, my wife and I were just reading something this week that talked about the fact that Atlanta, Georgia, Jackson, Mississippi, and Prince George County, Maryland are the three highest income areas for African Americans in particular. And I'm not making the business exclusive to African Americans. I'm just giving you some statistical facts in the world. And you're sitting in one of those places, and most of the folks there don't know anything about what we're doing as far as Karatbars go. You're in this room right now, know more about Karatbars than probably 90% of the people on this entire planet. They just don't get it. They just don't understand the value of it. They don't understand there's $100,000 a month, if not a week, at stake in income. And people are playing with this thing. It's like holiday to them. Okay, Mr. Delco mentioned going on holidays. Please, okay? Believe me, Mr. Delco, Mr. Roger Williams, okay, Dr. Sergio Roselle, okay, Mr. We're not on holiday. We're dead serious. Valerie Smith, the people there in D.C., we're not going on holiday, D-A-Z-E. We're going to work right through the holidays. One thing I can tell you about Karatbars in my 4 years I've been in, the holidays has very little effect on us. On all these programs I've done in my 34 years, lots of effect on those things. People take, from Thanksgiving to January off. There's something very unique about gold. Once you get gold fever, the fever don't break because it's Thanksgiving. The fever don't break because it's Christmas. Okay? We're fired up about this thing. And all you got to do is understand why you're doing it. And yes, anybody in that room can be free in the next 90 to 120 days if you want to. But it's going to take putting the blinders on. It's going to take shutting out the noise. It's going to take not hearing about all the Christmas parties and holiday parties and holiday get-togethers. When people say, what are you doing? I'm doing a meeting. I'm meeting with somebody. I got a dream. I'm sharing that dream with somebody else. Okay? Now, you understand, I've been that way. This is not you. This is me all the time. This is me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I will dress up for a meeting. Okay. Other than that, this is me all the time with a little cap on, okay, and a t-shirt on, talking to folks about what this thing's all about. Okay. Because I feel like Karatbars is the greatest thing I've seen in 34 years in this industry. And I've owned 3 companies. And I've been free since I was 40 years old. I retired at 40 years old. Haven't had a job in 22 years. That's not a boast. That's just telling you what's possible. But I believe the Karatbars represents the best of the best. Why? Because our product is an asset. And I know I don't want to be redundant. I know Mr. Delco, and I know they've already covered all this stuff already today. So I don't want to be redundant. If I can say anything to you, get your why crystal clear. Get your dream big. Get your dream so big that's impossible to accomplish in one lifetime. That's the way you got to see this thing. You got to see it that big, okay? And don't let anybody knock you off track. But when the dust settles, I believe all roads lead to Karatbars. I don't care what you may be doing. You can say, I'm making 20 grand a month over here. Great. What are you going to do with the money? You can say, I'm making 20 grand a month. Great. What are you going to do with the money? Okay, just read an article yesterday that talked about a financial report that says your home is no longer your greatest asset. Forget that nonsense. You say all my equity, all my net worth is tied in your home. Well, then you in financial disaster waiting to happen because homes don't appreciate the way they used to. In fact, they're stagnant as far as price go. Depending on what marketplace you're in, you want an asset that appreciates in value, and that asset is gold. And we're in a program that not only will spin off cash to you, but will also compensate you in free gold. So everything you do makes sense here. And then if anything should happen to you, it's a willable part of your asset. It's a willable part of your estate. You leave it to your spouse. You leave it to your children. You leave it to your children's children. And what does the word say? A good man does what? Leave an inheritance for their children's children. How far in the future do you see? I'm not doing this business for me. I could care less about another Escalade, another Mercedes-Benz, another 8,000 square foot home. That stuff means nothing to me at 62 years old. I care about how much I'm going to leave to my 32-year-old son, how much I'm going to leave to my 17-year-old son, and I'm thinking about my grandkids that have yet to be born. That's where I am. Okay, because see, once you pay off your bills and you got all this stuff, and you done bought that stuff you dream about, the cars and the Escalade and all that kind of stuff, and you get to my age, let's say 60, 65 years old, your priorities shift, folks. It shifts to a whole different set of things you're concerned about. Okay? Anyway, don't get me started, man. I know you guys been long enough, because I can talk about this stuff for days. Mr. Delco, no, but you're in good hands. Mr. Delco's the man. You always ask me, what's the secret you told Mr. Delco? I said, I haven't told Mr. Delco anything I don't tell anybody else. The big difference is Mr. Delco applied the information. Mr. Roger Williams applied the information. Talisa Glassman applied the information. And there are folks that hold DMV area, Dr. Sergio Roselle, Ms. Valerie Smith, Mr. Thompson. There are people who are applying the information. There are people there who are applying the information. Mr. Charbet applying the information on a consistent, continuous basis, and you're going to have results. It's just numbers, not emotion. It's just going through the numbers. And if one can put 1,000 flight, two can put 10,000 flight, and that's all you got to remember. You're not looking for 10,000. You look for 2 dead serious people. That's all you're doing. Back to you, Mr. Delco.
You're looking for 2 dead serious people. 2. Welcome to another edition of Class in Session. I'm your brother and friend, Brother Eric Trey Muhammad. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to share with you this morning. And I want you to know it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to be back with you again. A lot of nuggets dropped this morning. I got to admit, Brother Donnell Clark, I was really heated when I found out he threw away his books. And we don't live but minutes from each other. It's insane. Anyway, we'll get to him. Before I go through the housekeeping notes, I made it a point to find the notes I wrote down a couple of days ago regarding a comment that Brother Ronald Newton made, and I appreciate it. I wanted to share it yesterday, didn't have it, but Brother Ronald, we were talking about numbers, and we were talking about how they don't lie, and getting the nose out of the way and the formulas of a 100, 20, 5, and 2. And you said mathematical facts over fear. And that spoke to me in ways I have yet to really hone in on, but I now have it on the wall that I found it because mathematical facts over fear. Everything is an equation. And it stuck out to me. I mean, really stuck out. And when you think about the fact that this is a numbers game, meaning the opportunity to share, to bring people to the opportunity, to be successful in the opportunity of wealth building that we find in Karatbars International, that success is mathematical. That success is your willingness to apply pressure to your craft. You know, so I want to thank all of you for being with us today. And we're going to go through the housekeeping rules really quick, not rushing it, but quick. And to so we can embrace the direction that we have set today. And we're talking about winning. Believe in winning, then do it. You ever heard the phrases like you are what you eat? You know, as a man thinketh, so is he. You know, if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. Well, all those things speak to what we spoke to yesterday and throughout the week for the most part. It speaks to now. It speaks to the very present, and it speaks to the ever presence. Belief is an ever present function. And the more you exercise it, the more you beat that muscle, the more you massage that muscle, it develops the elasticity. So you have range, Roz, but you also develop that muscle so you have strength and determination. So believe in winning, then do it. And this is what you find in our leadership. This is what you find in all the activity that we find ourselves engaged in classes and session and in the power call when the victories are announced. I mean, I lost my, excuse the pun, but I lost my bird to know that Sister Yvonne Bird had reached global director. That was amazing because she did it in record time. Many people just do it in record time because they make up their mind that this is it. This is the dance. Put the music on. Let's go. And she shares with everybody 98.6 and breathing. You know, so congratulations to you, Sister Yvonne. We celebrate all the victories. We celebrate them all because it doesn't just show appreciation to the victor, but it also shows us it's possible to achieve. Thus, we don't become the victim. The victim of doubt, the victim of ridicule. The ridicule be there. The victim of doubt, the self-doubt I'm talking about. The victim of remaining in the comfort zone because you're more secure there in losing. Darnell Clark said, he said, not reading books is just like not knowing how to read. Okay, housekeeping notes. The 2020 Paper to Gold Run to Wealth Conference and Expo is this weekend, this Saturday. General admission is $11 as promised. We have Mr. Michael L. Dalco. We have Mr. Tyrone Best. We have Tony Shambly. We have Sister Kimberly Broomer Carroll. And you're going to learn things that your gold and you're securing gold and utilizing the systems developed by the team of Dr. Seitz and Karatbars International, how they will benefit you, how your Karat pay right now benefits you from what you've done by just registering it, by saving in gold, by moving gold between and through that system. You're going to learn about the leverage that you already have, the power. Look, CeCe Mahone says it best. You don't know what you don't know. Well, your $11 will bring you a multi-million-dollar experience and a liftoff into securing your future. Mr. Best said before he closed out, he said he could care less about another Escalade, another 8,000 square foot home. He can care less about those things. It's about his 35-year-old son. It's about his 20-year-old son. And it's about the grandchildren who are yet to be born. This is for them. I remember someone asked Mr. Dalco if he could, they can borrow some money from him, and he said he couldn't do it. And they looked at him twisted because this is Michael L. Dalco. He left his plantation in 103 days. He replaced his entire six-figure income. Yes, he did. But he let the person know that the money that he's a steward over has nothing to do with him. That's the money of his great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. You see, you had to be good stewards over your earnings. You had to be good stewards over your riches. Thus, you develop a wealth-built legacy. To be a good steward, you have to be in the study. You have to constantly be in the class. You have to constantly apply pressure to the dream. It has to be constant, you know. And so in this presentation this Saturday, you're going to hear things and see things and walk away with things that will literally reaffirm all that you already know, confirm that you're on the right road, and will absolutely arm you with the ability to explode your business and your wealth base. And if you're ready for any of that, if you're ready for an inkling of that, if you're desirous of accomplishing any of those things, if you're desirous of people understanding that, get everybody to www.runtowealth.info. It's there on the screen. Take a screenshot of it and share it out. www.runtowealth.info. And share it with every single human being. Don't be restrictive. Don't be selective. Share it out everywhere. Get on a phone and call 10 people. How many of you can get on the phone and call 10 people and invite them to the opportunity? You know, just put it in the chat. It's not obligating you. I just want to know if you think it's something that's easy because you understand the power and the value of this program. How many of you can call 10 people? Just call them. Just call them. Just call them. So take a shot of that. Share it with everyone. We have so many things that we want to share. We have so many things that we want the wealth building community to know. You are already victorious. You are already there. I mean, you are right there. The payment system is coming back online, and you see that the Bitcoin now is a part of the system. Let me just say this first. For those of you who saw that and look to use Bitcoin as a form of payment, KYCs have to be in place. If you intend to acquire a package for someone, and you know this is their first time getting a package, you know they can get the package straight away with their credit card or debit card. If you click on Bitcoin and choose Bitcoin, you automatically throw them into a KYC process, and you'll find yourself starting over, trying to acquire the ID and acquire the proof of address, which isn't bad. It's okay. But I just want you to know that's a process. So understand what you're looking at. Understand what's about to happen. The V999 site is showing you wallets. You can register for the V999 wallet, your Ethereum wallet, your Stellar wallet, your Bitcoin wallet. It's showing you all these things now. It's not fully developed yet, meaning it's not provisioned, it's not in sync yet. So several things you cannot do yet. Still can't put on the Cash Gold yet. You still can't open up the Fiat wallet yet, but it's coming. And you're seeing it in degrees as the team works hard to provision all those systems to make it one. So www.runtowealth.info. Make sure you are there and a part of it, okay, at our conference and expo this Saturday. Brother Kansu Hotep Batum, good to see you, soldier. Good to see you. You know, this is our power call, hump day, baby, 10:45 a.m. Eastern, and we have the Real Browns. And we're on today at 10:45, and then 12 noon. I believe it's Mr. Rodney Berger that does the presentation today at 12 noon. What a man, look, he's the whiz. He's also my neighbor, y'all. All right, so 12 noon, and then we're together. It's ladies' night in the huddle, and 7:45 p.m. on www.goldrocks.info. We have the huddle. Miss Maxine Jones will be there. Miss Sheila Abrams will be there. Sister Lakeisha McKnight will be in the house. It's going to be fire, folks. You want to be there, www.goldrocks.info. The huddle, okay? 7:45 p.m. Eastern. And then at 9 p.m., Mr. Roger Williams will bring the fire with the 9 p.m. presentation, wealth building presentation. Kalfani Radio has Dr. Abdul Ali Muhammad and Mustafa Muhammad on the Kalfani Radio International Network page. The updates of COVID-19, the weekly updates that come out. And it's the 19th element with Dr. Ali and Brother Mustafa Muhammad. And that will take place at 9 p.m. on the Kalfani Radio International page. And then at 10 p.m., all roads lead to fire. Listen, telling you right now, this subject matter tonight from this man is not for the faint of heart. You know, get your glycerin pills, you know, get your aspirins, because I'm telling you, get your steel toe boots, because I am here to tell you the freedom call for Mr. Ty Best is entitled No Apologies. No apologies. He may give you some insight on it at the power call today. He shared a little bit yesterday. I was blessed to be in the presence of he and his wife when he started developing this presentation via phone conversation a couple of days ago. And I'm telling you, it is not for the faint of heart. You know, you have to make a decision. And if you've embraced the decision to be more than you are currently, whether you're a wealth builder or not, that's when you want to find yourself a part of this call, because this call is for leaders. This call is absolutely for leaders. Okay, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, so now let's get to where we are. We have to believe. We seriously have to believe. We have to believe in winning, and we have to do it. You know, I have a library combined with my wife. It's a small library. It's maybe about 400 to 500 books and DVDs and CDs and cassette tape packages. Probably make up maybe another 100. You know, and I didn't understand the power of reading until I was forced to. Now, many of you know my history. You know I didn't read or write formally or fluently until my 20s. But when I went to prison, I read a book. And the book was called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Khalil Gibran. It was an amazing book, very small, but it told a story. When Donnell Clark talked about the alchemist, it tells a story. Everyone has their own legend, and you discover yourself through books. Now, some books are considered nonfiction. You have classifications, fiction and nonfiction. You also have those books that are development books that really speak beyond nonfiction because they use stories, right? They use stories, and sometimes they're not stories of the individual. Sometimes they're just stories that imbue principles, concepts that reward you with critical thinking. One thing that my father did that was very good for us, my mother more so, she made us play chess. And she encouraged us as our children, when we had children, to teach them to play chess. And all of my children play chess or have a knowledge of the game, understanding of the game. And she taught me because it provides and develops critical thinking. Well, why chess? Why not checkers? Checkers, you have strategies that come quick, fast, in a hurry. But the goal is not to control the board. The goal is just to get to the other side. Get to the other side and then do what? Well, it doesn't speak to anything like that. But in chess, you take leaders down, you take governments down, you take kingdoms down by going after the other side of the board with peers. You have pawns in your game. You have bishops in your game. You have rooks and knights in your game, right? You have castles in your game. And each one represents a member or a fit member of that society. And they all work in concert collectively to get to the other side and control the board. They actually don't have to get to the other side. You can conquer the king on your side of the board, depending on how far you draw them out. Critical thinking. You see, it leaves you open to a whole nother level of expanse. So reading is not solely relegated to the book, but the book is important because when you flip pages, you have to concentrate. It's not something you can do and do something else at the same time, because you'll have to put it down to concentrate on something else and then come back to it. When you read, you're literally engaging all of your senses in concert to building your philosophy. And your philosophy is what will fuel the belief, the attitude, and the win. Okay, a couple of notes here. I always go back to the note from Jim Rohn. Don't start the day until you finish it. Don't start the day until you finish it. See, winners have already planned out their day, most days, the day before. I write down 5 to 6 things that I must do coming into the next day before I retire from the previous one. You know, now sometimes, truth be told, I may not go to bed till 2 o'clock and get up again at 4:30, but at 2 o'clock, I have those 5 to 6 things that I know I'm approaching in my day. So when I hit the ground running. I know I'm going to get in front of the mirror and I'm going to scream. I know I'm going to get in front of the mirror and ask myself, if everyone did what I do for my business, what would my business look like? And I write down those shortcomings. I do that. I do things to prep and prepare my mind. Why? Because I believe in winning. And it creates an insatiable appetite in you to do just that, to win. It creates it. And as we grow, as you grow, as I grow, we develop different levels of the same, different levels of the attitude, different levels of the faith. So look, when we approach this week, we approach it dealing with faith, dealing with courage, and dealing with self-control. Well, faith is a substance, right? You need faith. You absolutely have to have the courage to identify with your pursuits. But as you engage yourself, that's right, Sister Maui, reading engages all of your senses. Reading helps you knock down the fences. Another Damawi greatest hit, y'all. Fire. Fire. You know? So when you engage your senses, you develop that courage, you develop that strength, you develop the belief system. It's absolutely developed. You can roll and grow together. We do it. All right? When you have the courage to blast through all and everything in your path, you elevate other responsibilities naturally. And the next one I want to approach with you is known as applied pressure. Brother Miguel, he says, apply pressure to your craft. We have to learn now how to apply the pressure to our craft. And that's where your constant study comes in. That's where your live events come in. That's where your power call comes in. That's where your freedom call comes in. That's where your personal development tools, your reading, your CDs, and other things come in. You don't get stuck trying to figure out where the next dollar is coming from when you effectively apply pressure to your craft. But in order to apply pressure effectively, you have to start. We have to start in order to do it successfully. We have to. So I appreciate all of you in this moment and what we're sharing. And thank you all. This is the last week of the 90-day run to wealth, and it's culminating with the conference this Saturday. And there'll be another run. There'll be an intermediate run, and of course, general run. And I really believe we're going to do a twice a month run where we do the presentations twice a month. And but we won't know for another week or so how that's going to come about as I speak with my wife and the teams we're developing out of those who joined the first run. And you will learn more about that. A handful of us will be reached out to actually be more of a brain trust to make it happen. Okay. Had a wonderful, wonderful week and was just getting started. It's only Wednesday, and I've been everywhere these last 3 to 4 days. You know, I joined Brother Supreme X and Sister Yatira FOD Money team last night at 10 p.m. or so. Really, I didn't get there till like 10:20, 10:30, and we stayed on 2 hours. You know, that stream is on his YouTube channel. I hope you find some benefit of the presentation that was done there. We dealt with the pooling of resources. We dealt with the economic plan. We dealt with sound money system. It was very, very enlightening and empowering for me to be in the presence of that young brother and his team. Last night on the Gold is Gold show, we had a power outage as the hurricane season has picked up and the storms came through and knocked us out right when I was making a point in an ugly face. I think my face went out like this, something real crazy, and then it faded to black. And Brother Carlito and Sister Abdul Kareem Nadi took charge of the presentation and closed it out last night from their locale in Tampa, Florida. So thank you all, Kafani Radio. Thank you, Brother Carlito, Sister and thank you all for putting up with the what's the word I'm looking for? The presence of calamity. When you see these storms raging, when you see crises on horizon, when you see all the wheels that have been appearing around the world and folks are now shouting UFOs, all right, do know this. You don't have to be afraid. They're for you. They're for you. That's a whole nother discussion, but they're for you. All right. Apply pressure to your craft. Apply pressure to your craft. And one great way to do it is to be at the conference. I really, really, really want to see 1,000 people come through those doors at our conference this Saturday and learn more about what they have in their hands as wealth builders and learn how they can become true wealth builders. And I need for you to know and understand how and where you are to the best of our ability. We just want to communicate it because many of us, we really don't know what we have. We don't know what we don't know. And so we want to contribute to the possibility of increasing your knowledge and your wealth base. So I want to thank you for the time. I want to thank you for the energy that you've given me this morning. This was episode number 98. We're 2 away from the 100th episode, and there's a lot swirling around in my head that we still have yet to put together to produce episode 100. It might just be a week-long celebration. There's no telling. But it's an amazing accomplishment to ride with you, our wealth builders, every day, or every week rather, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 when I get the urge to pop on with a live stream or a special event, and you all are so gracious to join. But you know, I'm extremely humbled that you allowed us to grow to this point together, and we are literally I'm reading. We are literally just getting started. So I will see us all on the next stream. Go to www.runtowealth.info. That's the number 2. Runtowealth.info. Get your tickets. Get them for others. Call 10 people, and let's put 1,000 people in this platform together. I have a couple of calls to make immediately after this our closeout, so I may not be on time for a lot of the earlier classes. You know, I love being with Sister Lakeisha McKnight. I love being with Brother Kansu Hotep Atum. You know, I love being with Brother Fad Money, and I love being on that power call. I will be on the power call, but right now I have a couple of errands to run. And Sister Nikki Nicole Knox, look out. I'm coming your way today. Peace and power, family. Love you all. Forward. Over there.
Peace. Strong words. Love. Soul. And change. Yeah, this is Big Snoop Dogg. Coming at you live and direct. And I got something to say. You dig?
Let's change the world, divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to love again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Brother, what will you discover if we come together and do it like we never? I'm just sick and tired. I'm fit to light the fire. Now put this on the wire. The devil is a liar. I do this with no hesitation. Meet me at the reservation. Elevating, educating, meditating, concentrating. Replenish ya, finish ya, opposite of sinister. And I do it for the minister.
Let's change the world, divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, so let's learn to love again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Somebody need to stop the war. Man, the war ain't overseas, it's at your front door. And I done seen too many brothers shot up on the floor for more than drugs and some colors. And now you call us warlords. But if you can help it, then help it. But you ain't helping us. You so selfish and selfless, you wanna see us breathless and helpless. But I'ma hustle to tussle for all my brothers who struggle. Yeah, we bang the world. Now let's change the world.
Let's change the world, divided we fall, united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to love again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Everybody get along, man, that be the perfect song. Peace in the streets as I sit back on my phone, chilling with the president. He let me in the White House, back to the castle with the minister, no doubt. Shoes at the front door, love is what you come for. Let's get it right and unite, but do it
Let's
pronto.
change the world, divided we fall, but united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, so let's learn to love again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.